Are you a first-generation professional? Maybe you're the first in your family to graduate college or even high school. Maybe you broke away from the family business in pursuit of your own dreams and career path. What is really common among first-generation professionals, even those who have already arrived or almost arrived at their successful destination, is this emotional and otherwise fatigue that comes from always having to fight for it, always having to figure it out on your own. So in this video, I hope to share some of my tips on how to overcome or at least minimize the first-generation fatigue. My name is Niki Khoshzamir. I am the founder and CEO of PracticePro. We are a legal education company. We do trainings and career coaching for lawyers and law students. And we really appreciate you guys to support our new project, this YouTube channel. Thank you if you've already subscribed. And for those of you who haven't, please take a moment and hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you get our notifications. Like this video so YouTube can have us come up in the feed of other students that hopefully, other students and professionals that we can hopefully help. So a little bit about me as a first generation. I am the first in my family to go to graduate school, but I consider myself a first generation professional also from the standpoint that I came to the US on my own when I was 19 years old. For a couple of years, I had attended this wonderful high school, the American International High School in Vienna, and I had fallen absolutely in love with the principles of equality, rule of law, freedom, and I was just obsessed. So after a year of really hard negotiations with my dad, he agreed to send me to the US. And little did I know how difficult it was going to be to, for the most part on your own, figure out all the professional stuff, how to successfully graduate from college, find a job, go to graduate school, climb up the ladder as a corporate attorney, but also the personal stuff, signing your first lease, managing your relationships, and of course with now the development of technology, you'll have more access to your family when you do that. But back then, it was quite a lonely path. After about a decade of practicing at 2 international law firms and starting PracticePro, in my current role, I work with dozens of lawyers and law students who are first-generation professionals. So when these 20-year-olds are sharing with me their journeys, this is regardless of ethnicity, gender, socioeconomic background, it's been so easy to detect this first-generation fatigue, where I thought maybe share, I'm a couple of decades ahead of you, so maybe to share a little bit of some of my tips on how to deal with it. My first tip is accept. Accept your feelings of exhaustion, frustration, or even anger. Nothing is ever handed to you. It is okay to feel it would be nice that you could have more resources, financial, connections, even maybe plain old advice that are easily given to you without you even having to know what to ask for. Many of you come from stable backgrounds, but your family might not have the necessary credentials to guide you. Others, even in your 20s, as you even have to figure out your next steps professionally and personally, you also have to pause constantly to help out family members, financially, cleaning up mistakes, and otherwise helping them out. So it is okay to own your feelings. It does not mean you're a bad person. It does not mean you don't love your family or you are not proud of them. Once you accept that, it will just make the rest of the journey a little bit easier. My second tip is you must invest in yourself. You've got to get help. Many people are born, using a baseball analogy, on third base. All they have to do is figure it out enough to kind of run on home. For the rest of us, maybe we were born on first base, or even harder, you have to pitch your way to even get on a base, to get on first base. So our starting point needs to be equalized a little bit. And you have to use resources and invest in resources to make sure you kind of deal with the past as well as prepare for the future. So let's talk about dealing with the past first. Here, what I'm talking about is therapy and mental health professionals. You must, even if you feel like you're doing okay, our issues from our backgrounds and trauma tend to catch up with us. So as soon as you can, invest in yourself and make sure you resolve, you identify, you become familiar, and you resolve these issues so you don't bring it into the workplace. The way you respond to stimuli, the way you deal with feedback, how you associate with your boss and your co-workers. We also don't want to have what's commonly known as bag lady syndrome, right? That we arrive at the destination, we are successful, but we still can't enjoy it at all because we have all this trauma that we're still somewhere lurking behind the surface. And then invest in your future. This is absolutely important whether you're a first-generation professional, whether it's books, reading books, going to conferences, hiring a coach, and definitely for everybody, surrounding yourself with trusted mentors. You figure out what works for you. Some people love to go to big environments and conferences and they learn like that. Others, from the time they were young, they really like the one-on-one attention. If you were one of those people who like tutors, you probably like working with a career coach because you want to make sure you take advantage of understanding what's coming up next, what are the minefields, so that will help you not to constantly have to figure it out on your own and minimize your fatigue a little bit. My third tip is adopt a warrior, pioneer mindset. I am super excited to share with you this experience. I am currently, even though I got a little soaked in the rain, standing on the estate of Henry Ford. This is where he lived with his wife from early 1900s until they passed away. As many of you know, Henry Ford is the founder of the Ford Motor Company, an American industrialist who revolutionized the automotive industry. But you may not know that Ford faced many challenges, both as a child as an adult. Here are a few examples. He was one of 8 children. He was born in 1863 on a farm near Dearborn, Michigan, which is about 8 miles away from Detroit. His mother passed away when he was 13 years old, and when he was 16, he just didn't want to do the farm work anymore. So he walked all the way to Detroit just to work as an apprentice in a machine shop. His struggles continued throughout his 20s and 30s. He had a series of failed products. His first company, the Detroit Automotive Company, attracted very prominent financial backers, but he could never fine-tune the product enough to be able to sell it. And it was really rare back then to get a second chance. So I know, that sometimes we feel that it would be easy to just get legacies handed down to us, and it is often lonely to be a first-generation professional. But we do stand on the shoulders and among giants, pioneers who have broken away from family businesses, from trauma, to make their own path and have succeeded at it. There are statues built of them, there are books written about them, so find role models and rest in the hope and in the excitement that history books are filled with so many first-generation professionals who not just made their own path, but changed the world. I hope you enjoyed this. I definitely have enjoyed making this video despite the rain and the storm. I hope until we meet again, you stay well. Please do me a favor, subscribe to our channel and like our video.